back to the TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from MTR and Abba and Preach. I combined these two videos because they both spoke on the same person and on very similar topic on the same person using pretty much the same video, but they went to two different directions that I thought both were great directions. So please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
He's a shit behavior.
Okay, don't talk to me like that. All right. Secondly, all right, I said what I said. I do think maybe you were 40 pounds overweight.
Anything you would like to say before you do?
I got nothing to say. I'm out.
See? My point.
Guys, listen to me when I tell you this. This conversation right here will undoubtedly be some of the most awkward, some of the most uncomfortable, some of the most cringiest discussion that we will have gone over since the beginning of 2023, but we absolutely need to be able to do it because I think that it's going to demonstrate to you guys how to hold yourself, how to hold frame, how to conduct oneself when dealing with opposition, when dealing with confrontation that is live and direct in front of your face. Also, this conversation enters in a bunch of other different things as well. So what have we seen over the past couple of weeks? A lot of people have been questioning, officially, I've been questioning the ideals of the RP movement, of the Red Pill movement, and also specifically some of the actors involved in the movement, the content creators. Now, how did this all start? Truth be told, I'm not really exactly sure, but I know a part of that is Rollo Tomasi being questioned for his vasectomy comments.
That definitely really took it down this path was that one tweet. And now everything is kind of getting flipped on its head and being really scrutinized, which is actually a good thing in my opinion. I actually thought that tweet did a good thing overall for the Red Pill.
In his follow-up live stream on the Fresh and Fit podcast, also entering in different content creators such as Destiny on the Fresh and Fit podcast as a representative of the antithesis of the Red Pill with his many varied talking points. We've seen Sneeko take a heel turn to babyface of the company as he now denounces a lot of the Red Pill ideologies that he would often brand his image off of. In the previous couple of months, we've seen Andrew and Tristan Tate publicly condemn the RP movement. But the latest to come up for observation is this content creator. His name is Modern Life Dating. And this guy apparently is another Red Pill content creator. I'm not incredibly familiar with his content whatsoever, but here's what's also happening, guys. Through the proliferation of live streamers such as Kevin Samuels, to then in-person podcast, live stream podcast conversations from Fresh and Fit to Just Modern Woman Things, right? There's been an influx of this type of content. We've seen a lot of copycats of them as well that have come into the picture. So now one of the new metas of male-focused content is that type of content. So the issue is that you have all of these RP content creators that began to bubble up around the 2019, 2020, during the lockdown, who have just been in front of a camera, just speaking about these different things and coaching men and being dating coaches, but you've never actually seen them in the real world. No. You've never actually seen them in reality. You've never actually seen them conversing with a woman. And that's where this conversation starts. So what we're about to watch right now is one of those RP content creators completely buckle and fold under pressure. Without further ado.
I don't want a traumatized woman in my life. I don't want any history of trauma. I've dealt with those kind of fucking nutbags, and I don't ever want to deal with it ever again. I want to deal with a normal, mentally stable, healthy woman. So
you think you're normal?
All right, so he's talking about not having traumatized women in his life, which is a common talking point that we say over here in these male spaces. And you heard the woman ask, so you think that you're normal. The shit test begins, but pay attention.
Exactly.
In what sense?
Well, do you think you have healthy habits?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Weren't you the same one who fat shamed me last week or so?
Uh-oh.
Do you think that's normal from a stranger to fat shame somebody?
I don't remember. Did I call you fat?
Oh, okay.
Don't do that. You know where you were in the chat. You knew you were in the chat. Don't do that on camera.
I don't know.
Don't do that.
Don't do what?
It's getting tag team.
Because
Strange
you
way
were
of,
in the
like-
chat with your checkmark name doing that.
What was I
own
saying?
Up, listen, it's okay if you want to do those things,
Yeah.
but own up to what you do.
What was I saying?
I mean, women are apparently like CEO of not taking accountability, but I mean, I guess you should change your pronouns because
I actually think it's funny. She got him pretty fucking good. Like,
I'd say you're kind of in the same bracket when it comes to that.
Disrespectful.
All right, I'll get right on that.
And that's not masculine energy.
Just saying.
Masculine energy
High
owns
value
up
men. Remember, I told you
to
that.
what
Don't
they
call
say.
people horse either.
I'm just saying.
see, it's hard because now he's getting tag team, and yeah, they're redefining what high value and a good man is. Like, we're really right on the spot on him. So
I
Right,
mean,
he's getting triple
women
teamed.
can't handle criticism. I took that like a champ. That's fine. I'll take that. But I think you yourself as a man should probably work on that instead of saying that I don't want to traumatize women, because it definitely shows
I
that
don't
you
want
have.
to. I don't want to traumatize women.
We don't want to traumatize men either. That's the thing. So
Okay.
that's why it's easier to go to Japan and find the konnichiwa type of girl, because they're not going to debate with you. That's the problem.
Shaming.
That's right. They're just robotic female slaves in Japan. They have no personalities.
It
They just
shows.
say konnichiwa.
Yeah, sumisane, all that shit that you like. It's evident that you're used to women who don't check you when you're being irrational
Thanks.
and way out of place.
Thanks
Oh,
for the whole
shit.
synopsis on the 37 years of my
It
life.
shows. Well,
you've
age
arrived
really
here
doesn't
in the
mean to a
hour and
lot of
half.
people. It shows like you could be. My grandma's 80 years old and still drives like shit. It doesn't matter how old you are. So I would have to say, you sound like somebody who really looks down on women with the way that. I mean, you even made a whole hit piece on that.
I do agree. Most of these creators actually really do look down on women just by hearing them speak and just the way they kind of go about speaking on women. They really do look down on them.
I think that's weird.
I didn't make a hit piece on her.
This guy, you should really change your pronouns, because I could see that's
Oh.
not your best trait to actually own up to what you do, and I think that's really disgusting.
All right, just real quick. Let's let the track breathe real quick.
Yeah.
I also forgot to set this up as well. This is filmed at Valuetainment, which is somewhere down in the Florida area. I want to say like Miami-ish area. Now, here's the thing. As what we've seen before, because I did live stream discussions regarding Valuetainment, and specifically it was like Coach Greg Adams versus, I think it was Hafiz was the first one that I did on them. And what Coach Greg Adams says is that when you walk into the studio, they didn't know who was going to be there. They just invite you to come on. They didn't know. So what it seems as though that there was some conversation that was had. The dude didn't know that the girl that he was talking to was going to be in attendance. Now, this is 2 hours into their live conversation. She apparently had this on her chest the entire time, and she got extremely deep within her masculine in order to address and confront this guy towards the end of the stream. But what I find so interesting is that she seems not being emotional about it. She's saying, "Did you try to fat shame me?" So we'll get into a little bit more. But what the guy is doing right now is completely denying even acknowledging or knowing who this particular person is. And what you see here is what often happens in these group of women is that they'll begin to tag team and gang up on you when they have a particular point. But let's watch to see how he handles it, which let's just watch.
Why don't you sit in your masculine energy and maybe just apologize for what you said? I think that that's very masculine. I think that's a great way, because I feel like, number one, in a war, everyone thinks they're right?
Yes.
So I think that right now is a great opportunity for you to show that men can be masculine and have feelings, and can also regress and think back about what they said. Maybe in the moment you said it because you got excited or whatever, and you were just in this phase of yours. But I think sitting here in front of her, you're talking about that you want this wife and this submissive person and all of this, but where's your respect towards women?
Yes.
And don't you run like an entire male
apologize to her.
empowerment thing? Like, I think that's important that people look up to you. And you know what's funny? I actually
they are
subscribed to you
burning
prior
me.
to you doing that. And I thought that was so out of pocket. And I was like, wow, like people like you, respectfully to anyone that's listening. This is why I stepped out of the red pill space, because you guys are so quick to demonize women in the West. But mind you, all of these girls have been working since we were old enough to work. A lot of us have to retire our families. But instead of people seeing that, you guys demonize women for masculine traits when we're also working just like you. And I don't expect respect,
agree.
but like there was no beef and it was so unnecessary. And I think that's accountability that some people.
I just think it's pretty feminine to be going on these podcasts and commenting and just like trashing on women in the comments. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. I don't particularly do it. I watch these things, but I don't leave comments. Like, and if I do, it's usually just to, support the creator. I try not to shame or, like shit on these people. Like, yeah, sometimes we shit on people on some of the clips that we do, and people comment on it, but we don't just straight up call, someone something, like, just because you want it to. And then at least if you do, own up to it. Own up to it. Or if you don't own up to it, why did you do it in the first place if you're not willing to own up to it? I also think to be masculine, what you say is what your word is, right? What your word is your bond. I think MTR gets to this part. But if we can't even trust that you honor your word or honor how you speak, how can we trust anything else about you?
People should take, but to each their own.
Here's the thing. She said a couple of things there. Number one being that's why she stepped outside the red pill space. She probably stepped outside because I think that it's impossible for a woman to be in the red pill space and not have masculine behaviors and characteristics. But I mean, think about it. I just had a falling out with the top female creator in the space, and she's masculine as hell. But also notice as well, what begins to happen when you give women the mic in determining what a real man is that she shames him off of his feminine behavior and begins to tell him what he needs to do in order to be masculine, which is so crazy to me because she's telling him, well, just apologize. Okay, well, just take back your statements. No, if you said the statements, then you own the statements.
Damn right.
I always said on this platform, anything that I've ever said in a video ever, I would say it to that person's face, but I keep it respectful.
Agreed. I try not to disrespect people too much. I tell them, I disagree with a lot of content creators, but I don't really go around talking shit on these content creators either. I just disagree with one of the things that they do and say. If people disagree with me, it's perfectly fine. Like, I think there should be discourse back and forth, right? Like, it's just these men's egos are so wound up because they're so big or whatever it is. It trips me out. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't have that ego because I'm the nobody. So, but well, let's get to it.
Respectful is what I possibly came up here because I'm a respectful person.
Correct.
Never, ever in the history of ever will you see a masculine man down into the comment section of another woman's video just hurling insults at them.
Correct.
And then, if they're considered insults, not then say it to their face or own up to it and take accountability. But let's proceed.
Yes.
Just saying.
What are you upset that I called you fat?
This is upset. This is upset.
Clearly.
This is addressing.
But
And I
why
think
don't you
it's
want to
she's
own
not
up to
upset.
what you said, though? Why
What
are you
was it? What was
denying
it that was
and
said?
if anything, we're kind of built the same, which is funny, dude. We're
Oh,
like,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, come on, man. You can't be sitting there acting like we're like, oh.
You know what? I can't disagree with her. They are pretty much built the same. At least I think she looks better than him. Yeah, well, she is a woman, but
Oh, and I'm like, dude, honestly, that's so out of pocket in so many ways.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
She's saying
This
they're
came
both
out of
built
left
like
field,
pillows.
but I don't know. I'm like tuned in right now. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I
but
didn't know
let
this was
him
happening on my
own up.
show, but here we
Let him
go.
own up to what was
Here we go.
said and let him clear the
So,
room.
all
If we
good.
misinterpreted,
Ladies, hold on.
if we didn't
All right.
understand, let him
So
clear the air.
guys,
She masculine
host
too.
the show for a second. You're upset because why?
I think that, listen, criticism, sure, but be real and own up to whatever mistake you make. Because again, you are
Okay.
leading whatever.
I agree. If I was to make a mistake, I own up to it. I mean, there's many things that I've watched, even with you guys, that has, changed my mind somewhat in certain areas. And I said, yeah, you know what? My mistake. I do see it a different way now. Like, that's growth. Like, to at least own up to your mistakes. Because, fuck, I make plenty of mistakes all the fucking time. Like, I own up to them. Sometimes I don't apologize about them, but, I own up to them.
Wait, what did I say? What is so upsetting? I don't know. I don't get it. Why didn't you talk to me?
You
Is this
don't
chick
know
supposed
what
to
you
be
do?
attractive?
Why
You
didn't
do all
you-
this content and you comment all these things, but you don't remember what you do. But you have all the comments to be made.
No, it's okay. I'll just
She
endure
hates him.
this like I should in an abusive relationship.
Oh.
Okay, so
let's get on to the Abba and Preach side of things now.
MLD, what do you
After the last video, I just got people sending me everything. What did you say?
I punched a Latina bitch in the
Same man. He calls himself Supreme Leader in some group chat. I punched the Latina itch in the face at Recon. Good memories. The motherfucker that defended Fresh and Fit on my comment about, when we were talking about the spousal abuse thing, you're a fucking idiot. Like, men like these are not men to look up to that just hit women like this. You're not masculine when you're hitting someone so much weaker than you with a punch in some random club. Like you can defend Fresh and Fit or whatever it is, but it doesn't mean that they do everything that is correct. That's just because I like a content creator or I like whatever it is, or maybe something someone said, does not mean I fully agree with everything they say. I'm not going to defend my life to, for their honor. It doesn't make sense to even do that. But let's get to it.
The face at Rakon. What's Rakon?
It's a club in Japan.
Yeah, so she was saying, you just ignore it, the abuse, the just like endure, right? And then the Abba and Preach video is actually on the abuse side, and then I love that MTR did the masculine side and how to hold frame.
He lives over there. He was talking shit to some guy. I guess people just linking the group chats. He was talking shit to some guy, and the guy said to him, well, at least I've never been arrested for glassing a bitch. And he's like, yo, why are you so sensitive? Are you going to leave next? So
glassing a bitch. So he literally smacked a girl with a glass bottle in the face. Yeah. I don't know how anybody can defend those actions. Unless that girl was attacking him with a knife or something. That's probably one of the only scenarios I can see where he can hit someone in the face with a glass bottle.
So that's the MLD saying, like, why are you so sensitive? Why are you bringing that up? And the guy says, I'm not sensitive, just giving back some. And then MLD says, you act like that's the last bitch I'll smite on this planet. Oof.
Well, do you think you have healthy habits?
Yeah.
I think it's very bizarre that someone accuses or says that you bottled a woman in the face, and your response is, that didn't happen. Your response is, are you being sensitive right now? Why are you bringing this up? Then it makes me really think you did do that shit. Also, how would you kill this for being so disgusting? Personally, I think a good old-fashioned bludgeoning is the way to go. Big old monkey wrench to the head. And then he posts her picture in the group chat.
This is actually very disgusting to me. Like their group chat or whatever the fuck this is, to be talking like this in the chat. This is what toxic is. This is what women talk about. This is why our red pill and all of this is being watched. Is being under fucking investigation. Why every time I say red pill, my name goes on the list another time. Right? It's men like this and their content and their groups that do shit like this. Imagine all the other men in this group that go along with this. There was one guy that pushed back, but imagine everybody else that goes along with this. It says, oh yeah, fuck that bitch up. And you think, and us men in the space are like, well, I don't get why we're like this and why they think this. Well, because some people in the space do it.
I don't want a traumatized woman in my life.
Time to beat Aya. I'm gonna beat Aya for not being pretty enough. I have to beat Aya for letting this happen.
These receipts are fucking pretty horrible.
Mentally stable, healthy woman.
I will glass a bitch with a champagne bottle for the honor of the group. If this happens, I'll have so much fucking money. I'm gonna glass like 17 Now, mind you, everything here I've been sent screen recordings for, so none of it is like edited photo. So this is him contacting somebody else about the incident in Japan. He goes, and you can see the video as he's scrolling. He says, "Hey, sorry to bother you about this. This guy attacked an innocent girl in Roppongi, and the police found him. I heard he did something to you. Is that true?" And the woman in question, who's Japanese, she goes, "Yes, true. What him make for the girl?" Which I think is her broken English.
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know he's a real scumbag. Is it true that he punched you in your face?" And she says, "Yes. What happened with the other girl?" And he says, "Are you sure it's definitely this guy?" To which she replies,
"Really? Hot dude life? That's... See, like him and Myron, right? Like 1% man on the sugar daddy site. And then this guy, hot dude life. I think this is his Instagram picture. Like, they love really stroking their own egos, don't they?
yes. And so a couple other people from Japan contacted me and said that this guy was charged for bottling a woman in the face after she rejected him at a club. This went to court. He settled out of court. The woman has a scar across her face. She didn't want to come forward and bring this up, nor does she want to be involved because she's been traumatized by the experience since.
Enough.
And people send me messages to people that know her and people know of the incident, and all these are real. I made sure they sent me videos to show me they didn't fake no fucking DMs.
And that was like a club in Japan?
Yeah, and he's also being charged for somebody else in Japan. So why am I bringing all this up? Listen, group chats are your business. Personally, I've never been in a group chat where folks brag about punching women in the face.
That's ridiculous.
Or take joy in talking about how they want to kill somebody that they saw on Bumble because they're ugly. Okay? But when this guy is getting on podcasts talking about he wants a well-adjusted, normal woman who's not traumatized, I'm like, brother, do you hear yourself? Do you see the stuff that you be writing? And then you want to be on a podcast telling women like, yo, listen, if you get hit once or more,
endure.
This is the person telling you to endure.
I told you was putting some olive oil and some garlic. You were about to cook.
He's like, what am I reading, bro?
Yo, look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the... Yo.
Again, maybe that's how you guys talk in your group chats. Maybe I'm unaware because I only spend my time in 2 group chats.
Fuck that.
And it must be PG-13 compared to some other people. I don't know. So you guys let me know in the comments. Is this normal for your group? Because if it is, then maybe I need to take all this shit back. What? Is it? I don't know. That's why I'm actually asking. I really don't know.
I do not know.
But considering he's been charged, he's being charged again. He's got enough cases against him. A lot of these dudes in these spaces want to always claim they're not anti-woman. But every time you peer behind the curtain, every time you look into it, every time you find out who they really are when the cameras aren't on, it just don't sound good.
Nope.
I mean, it don't sound good on camera, but it sounds even worse behind closed doors. Nobody online's perfect. Nobody online, but anybody who's trying to convince you to stay in a situation probably doesn't have your best interests in mind.
Yep.
And I'll also say this. A lot of people from the last video we did on this topic were saying, oh, you took these guys out of context. Go play the full clip. Go play the full clip. You know, a lot of these guys want to sit on a podcast, and the moment some woman says something radical like, I love to fleece men, they're quick. They get off their fucking seat to put her in her place. You want to rob men of their money through divorce? That's absolutely. And you should be calling these women out. Yeah. But then the dude sits beside you and says you should endure getting beaten by your husband or beaten by your wife in a marriage. And all of a sudden, these same people get real quiet. They don't got much to say.
They don't get quiet. They just say that, hey, no, man, you took him out of context.
Yeah.
Listen, nah, keep the same energy.
Or
same
they'd be
energy.
like, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't know how to advise somebody. I wouldn't know. Well, what if a woman cheats on her husband? Divorce. All of a sudden, you got plenty of prescriptions, right? You think people can't work through some infidelity, but you think that people should stick around through physical beatings? I don't know. It's just bizarre to me when I hear some of this stuff. So sometimes it's not even what's said. Sometimes what's not said. Sometimes it's the change in your energy. You loud and proud when it comes to shaming single moms and all this other stuff. But we talk about folks beating on women or beating on dudes, all of a sudden you don't keep that same energy. That's when you look sus.
That's
keep
correct.
That same energy for everything else. If you care as much as you...
Be genuine. Be genuine. Like, if you really think this way, be genuine across the board. Be consistent across the board. Hold your frame. Like, I really don't dislike women. I actually really love women. This is why most of my content, I still speak on women. I make women, like some episodes for women, and I still, I speak to women directly on here. I'm sure I only have like 10% women on my channel, and I have ones that comment, and to hear these rhetorics all the time, it makes me feel like a piece of shit, tell you the truth. Like, because I go through some of these things like on my videos, and the women that watch it probably are disgusted by some of this stuff, and rightfully so.
Claim, that's all I'm saying.
Keep going in the relationship.
Keep going.
You can't divorce, and that's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
You got to endure. People are too.
You want to stick in the relationship.
People are just.
I mean, look,
people
I'm
nowadays are just.
For anyone that might be in that situation, what would you recommend?
Okay, endure.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you
what. It is such an extreme example that I can't give a prescription for what other people should do.
What about if
3 days later?
Because I guess what they're trying to say is like if a man is continuously beating a woman in a relationship. They're talking about
physical abuse, yeah.
Right. So they're trying to say that I'm saying that if a man is continuously beating a woman in a relationship, that he and her should stay and endure the thing. That's not what I said at all. But I did say if there was one instance, because
you didn't say that at all. And we could play the tape back.
Play it.
I think sometimes people get on podcasts and start talking. And there's what they say in their head or what they think and feel, and then what they actually say outwardly. Okay? I think he's just doing some damage control now, because I think he thinks his take is better, where it's like, if you get hit once, then, you can work things out. I'll be honest with you. I think once is too many times.
Agreed.
Personal. Thoughts?
Go on. You cooking right now.
Things can get heated. Words can be said. You can maybe even punch a wall. When you put your hands on the other person, you cross and this is man or woman. If a woman starts hitting you, I don't even feel that different.
Nope. Damn, did you put garlic in there?
Why is that?
You cooking.
Okay. I don't feel it's that different. I think that's a very strong line you're crossing. And most of us who've never put our hands on a partner, okay, will know that's not a line I've been in a lot of arguments. Punching my girls never come up.
Nope.
But maybe I don't have the experience, so that's why I'm turning to you.
No. As a matter of fact.
All right. My ex-wife, I've accidentally hit her like once or twice. And it wasn't like hitting, like I'm driving and I'm backing out of the driveway. She's in the passenger seat. I know I'm an old school driver. How I was taught was to put your arm across the thing, the seat, and look back. Carelessly, I went like this and accidentally smacked her in the face, like backhanded her when I was about to put my hand back in behind the seat. I think that happened twice in our 14-year relationship. I felt horrible doing that. Like, I cannot see myself hitting a woman purposely that way. Like, my accident, like, I apologized to my ex-wife profusely and I made it up to her. Like, it was an accident. I mean, some people might view it differently or whatever it is, but it was truly an accident. And yeah, I felt like that was too much. Like, me accidentally doing that, I was like, oh my God, like how much stronger I am than her by just me actually just trying to put my arm or back. Like, it smacked her pretty hard. I heard the smack and I felt like, trust me, I felt pretty bad. And these people that say, oh, one time, it's okay. If it was one time, like purposely, that's not okay. If it was an accident, like something happens, you're like wrestling, and that's its own thing, right? But purposely hitting someone, doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I got problems with that.
There's something that I told her when we was kids, and I told her, never scream at me. If you need some time to reflect, to calm your spirits down because of something that I did, please do so. If I ask you, is there something wrong? And I see there's something wrong, don't tell me, no, there's nothing. Tell me I want to talk about it now, and we'll talk about it later. so we can calm ourselves down. Because once the screaming, the insult, we're not insulting people. That's me. Some of y'all motherfuckers roll like that. I don't even roll like that with my friends. Like, I will not insult you, even insult you. Some shit that he's gonna do that's gonna piss me off, or some shit I'm gonna do that's gonna piss me off, that's gonna piss him off. I don't assume that it comes from a place of malice, or else we have a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? All that to say, the screaming, the calling names, those are steps before the hitting. You don't go from this to to a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Shit escalated. That's just me. And I said that when I was 16 to my girl. Maybe it's because of what I saw, what I saw and what I was raised with. My parents, they had arguments. And at some point I remember that it would start to yell a bit much, but I was so not used to that I got downstairs and I was like, yo, like, are you guys separating and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. And they were like, they realized, and they said, no, we're just talking, but it's okay, we're good. Went back upstairs and they understood that they had to lower the thing a bit because, okay, now there's all that to say. Maybe it's because of how I was raised. And yes, that's a privilege.
And they want to say that it doesn't affect kids. It really, truly affects kids. Arguments, like, constantly in a household, kids assume it's because of them. A lot of kids assume this. I don't know if it's how psychologically they're wired as kids, but a lot of kids assume this. Even my brother, at 18, when I separated my mother from my father because of issues, he felt like it was somewhat his fault, even though he was already 18. I don't know if the men out there don't know what the fuck is going on or don't experience this personally, but it truly affects your kids to their core.
But the screaming, the name calling, even before it hit, that's a no. That's a no. Don't call me names because I will say stuff that I will not regret. And once you pass and once you say certain things, it's hard for me to turn back. The punching, one time? No, because there's other steps that was crossed before that.
Anything else you want to say?
Nah, bro.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
That's a cook. Dinner's ready.
But isn't that what?
It's super wild.
When I was reading that shit, I was like, bro, am I bugging? This shit weird, right?
It's weird. It's weird. You look super sus. But not only that, like you said, is the charging after that as well. So you show disregard in your comment in your locker room talk. Yeah. But then you got disregard for women and being charged for disregard for women. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not just one incident. It's not just one thing. Yeah. It's the repeated behavior that happens, and you start to connect the dot. You're like, that's fucking weird. Yeah. You're a weirdo. If it was just one thing where you just say some stupid shit once, that would be one thing.
Agreed. Something that you would tell your daughter if you found out that her husband is domestically beating and or abusing her. And this is why it's so easy for these large ass content creators to pick apart components of these red pill content creators that just don't know what it is that they're talking about, because they've been in solitary confinement uploading content for their audience with just their microphone and their camera, and they haven't been living real life or real world experiences to understand the nuances within life. Life is not black and white. Life is not a if this then that statement. It's simply not. So these content creators that build this image, that build this facade off of a framework that men were looking at to try to help men be bigger, better, faster, stronger, and they have influence over these men with their dim level of understanding of the world around them, and honestly frightens me. But let's continue to watch how he gets himself about it.
You know, it's funny because I thought I was unknowledgeable and like knew nothing about these types of things when I fucking got into the space. But as I watch things and like going through my own experiences, I feel like, yeah, some of these people are just talking out of their ass, right? I mean, that's just me.
This one.
All of this.
I'm still waiting for that. Like, I don't get it. What was said that made you so upset?
This is the problem. So if we reverse the roles, if a woman addressed this, you're being emotional.
Not gonna answer the question.
There is nothing. I've
Why
said
don't
it like
you
5
answer
times.
the question?
I'm asking the question. Well, why are you so mad?
She's
already said it.
Because what?
What do you
She did.
He said, you're saying that he called you fat and you're addressing
To
it.
just take accountability for it. Like, oh my bad, I was
Because
probably
he's
just slurring
talking
on
about
Hennessy.
women that they have to do X, Y, and Z, and all this what they have to do,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't, treat women badly because they have to submit to you. And in Tokyo or whatever, they're so feminine and this and that. But it's here, you come here, and when there's women are making valid points and there are respectable women, you come in the chat and you fat shame, or you go and make pieces about people.
This is where, like, yes, this is why Fresh and Fit and a lot of these podcasts actually don't have much pushback. And even if they did, Fresh and Fit would shut that shit down anyways. When they actually get educated women and women that know what they're doing, this is what happens.
Or whatever it is that you want to do. At the end of the day, all that's being said is that, listen, if you're going to do those things, own up to it and then make your point about it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do these things and you're not going to own up to it,
it's weird.
And then what's the point?
It's weak.
You're just bullying people?
What's up with, there's no integrity in what you stand on. Like, nowadays, you're running a space where men stand on principles and honor, but you see someone's face.
Say
and you
something,
completely
my
dismiss
G.
the fact that was disgusting. Disgusting. We're not in a Call of Duty lobby. I don't know you. It wasn't like I've said something to you. I said anything to you. I've stepped out of the combative space of the red pill stuff because of guys like you. And you prove my point to it. It's I don't know you. You don't have to do that. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine if I said, you're not my preference. I've never attacked you before.
Right.
I'm still waiting for what made you upset.
It's okay. Jesus. Right now, we're going to call you the delusional girl.
All right. How about I just...
I 100% agree.
Because this is retarded.
No. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Why would you leave,
You're upset because...
You literally are... You're an example
Can
for
somebody
men.
tell me what
You're
I said that everybody's so upset about that I'm still waiting on?
What was the example that, just to be clear?
I'll do the 3. Was it 3? Nah, I'm pretty sure it was, is this chick supposed to be attractive? 1. 2, she's 40 pounds too heavy.
Yep.
XYZ, something about weight. I wouldn't listen to her. You just went on a rant. It was
How do you know that was him, though?
Because it was his name with the check mark in the chat.
Do you recall doing that?
I guess so.
Oh, God.
Fucking bitch.
Yo, own it, my G. Own it. Own this shit. Be like, yes, that was me down into the chat. Yes. Not only are you 40 pounds overweight, but now that I met your ass in person, you can lose a good 60. Say whatever it is that you gotta say. Stand by your
FDR.
shit.
Damn
Conduct
right.
yourself with frame. Stand on your square. Where has it gone? You get into real life with women, and this is the way that you act in front of them. Oh, God. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Right? This is why so many of the content creators are like, yo, this red pill shit, F this shit, I'm out. I got nothing for it. There's nothing I want to do because they've tarnished the brand. This is a part of the brand and the imagery of what it is. Why do you think when you see something like that happen, going into the comment section and spending time to do shit like that, and then you have government entities creating documents that talk about how these content creators are creating incels and they're so much filled with hate and all of these different things, and we wonder why that the two are coming together. We wonder why. At least just own this shit. But instead, you turn every color of red up under the book. I mean, you are orange, tomato red, in hot pink fuchsia at the same goddamn time as this woman looks at you in a way to let you know that her viscous innards are drying to concrete innards by the goddamn second.
Oh, you're mad. You're mad because I said you're 40 pounds overweight. I'm on every chat. I'm in Fresh and Fit. You know how it is when you're a streamer. You're in all these chats. I did 6 shows in the last 6 days.
So just say sorry. So just own up to being a piece of shit.
Well, no. So I'm not. So first of all, I'm not a piece of shit.
You don't think that's piece of shit behavior?
Okay, don't talk to me like that. All right. Secondly,
you know, when they call women 304 and they're like, oh, don't call me a 304. Well, your 304 behavior is the same shit. Same shit.
All right. I said what I said. I do think
now you own up to it.
Sure.
Okay,
so
not
what's
maybe.
wrong with that?
We can match each other's energy. All I had to say was you need to own up to your shit because it's weird that you would face me.
Oh, now you own up to the shit. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's like when you were a little kid. And, you know what I'm saying? There's 20 cookies in the cookie jar and you took out 1 or 2. But meanwhile, your mom had counted or some shit like that in order to test your restraint, in order to test your discipline. And she's like, you ate that cookie, didn't you? And you're like, Cookie? What? What Cookie?
What's
right
a cookie?
Now, he looks like a little boy being reprimanded in front of a live studio audience.
Because it's weird that you would
just
face
did.
me. Yeah, after like pulling teeth. Are you good?
No, after you talking over me and freaking
This was
trauma
all-
dumping
Did I say
live
that?
on
I
the
don't know what I
show.
said.
No.
I don't know what
you
these
said.
words, and like you throw them on people. But if I acted the way you act, you would demonize me. If I literally attacked you the way you attacked me, if I said the things that's disrespectful. If another man said the shit that you said to me, oh, that's fighting words. But yet,
Agreed. These men talk about disrespect all the time that women show them, but you don't show these women respect in the first place. Remember, everybody deserves a certain level of respect, and it should be given. And they earn more or lose it as you meet them. That's it. You don't just disrespect people off the bat and for them to have to earn from ground zero up. That doesn't make sense. Because when you meet rich people, did they earn your respect in any other way other than being rich? No, you gave them a certain amount of respect already. And then you might have even given them more because they're rich. So give everybody at least a base level.
a woman says it to you, oh, she's being dramatic, she's masculine, she's emotional. But
I didn't call you any of those
where's
things.
the vein coming out of my neck that I'm so triggered right now that, oh, she's mad? I think it's disgusting that you act that way. It's so like unattractive and not manly, but yet you sit here and shame women. Oh, I can't wait to go back to Japan. I just think there again, you're leading a bunch of cows to follow you and you're like, yeah, this is how men should act. That's not how men in my family and in my life act. And it's so unattractive that you think that's normal. So you are part of the problem in the West is what I'm basically saying.
Okay.
I can agree.
Let's
I
try
can
to put
agree.
a silver lining on this thing. This came out.
Christ.
How should he have acted, in your opinion?
We walked in the green room. All you had to do was say, hey, no hard feelings. I was just on the little juice a little bit. I was tripping. My bad. I would have been like, all right, bro, like all fair is word. That's fine. I would have dropped it. But the fact that you walk in the room, you don't address it, you sit here, it's like awkward. And I'm like, this is how, again, people like you want women to submit to this garbage nonsense. And you're, well, women are not submissive. Why would I submit to that type of activity? But again, this is...
She's essentially saying, why would she submit to bitch behavior? That's essentially what she's saying. What's so interesting is that he called it trauma dumping, but she doesn't appear angry. Nope. She doesn't appear to be in her feelings. She's using a lot of logic to try to, you know, talk through what it is that, you know, she experienced. And, you know, she is at the same time using a lot of shaming, but it's a lot of masculine behavior.
Men do the same
as well. And that's fine. She's confronting him. It's fine from a content perspective. It's fine. She saw some shit. She's calling it out. And he apparently didn't want to own up to it until everybody in the room was like, yeah, we saw you do it.
This is showbiz. That's fine.
You're totally entitled to that. I'll give you, you know.
I didn't even know who she is when I was in the waiting room.
That's the whole point.
Oh my God. You are meant for the camera, my friend. You are something else.
Just real quick as well, I'll be honest with you. I think that this young lady right here, it's a bit unprofessional what you're doing. Are you the producer? Like, are you reading out the super chats? Right? To also tag team a guest live in studio in front of an audience like this. But you could tell she was waiting for the point in the podcast to be able to discuss this. I don't know if she had a conversation with the other chick and the other chick was like, yo, at some point during it, I gotta talk about it. And she was like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna go in right with you.
You don't know who she was when you were in the chat?
No.
No.
In the camera? In the back room?
No, it's okay.
All right, well, how about this?
Oh my God.
Is there anything you would like to take back or apologize? Whatever you want.
No, not after being treated like that. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna be talked down to by like some child that has no decency to communicate with me in a respectful manner.
It starts with you.
In a respectful manner. You know what's so crazy is that we can look at Kevin Samuels live stream and see disrespect. We can look at the Fresh and Fit podcast and see some of these chicks that start talking all types of crazy, talking about they about to go get their mans to come back and hurt the boys. We can talk. That is disrespectful. What she did, a little bit of shaming, a lot of it of shaming, some insults, but she was direct, masculine, and got straight and direct and to the point. Calling it trauma dumping and all of this stuff like that because she disagrees or you got called out for what it is that you did. I don't know. It's almost as if we utilize this talking point of them being too much in their emotion, but it just doesn't fall through when she's generally not showing any emotion in addressing this. But again, a lot of this would have been healed if you just stand on your square and said, nah, I said 40, I really meant 80.
What manner?
It starts with you. What man leads a relationship like that? You don't even know how to lead a general space.
You guys are better than me. You win. Cool. Next question.
Amazing.
Please.
Anyway, she's not talking down to you. She's a
you guys good?
She's confronting
You guys good? All right. I had like 3 more topics to get to, but I'm sitting in the middle of this like, holy shit. Anyway, I hope you guys at least after the show can hug it out. I don't know if that's possible.
I got a hard out at 6. I told you.
Okay, I gotta get you on. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this last segment. This came out of nowhere. This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't expect that happening, but I hope you guys genuinely can figure this out after the show. No hard feelings. I understand where you're at. Natalia, final super chats. Let's get some winners, and we'll go to the happy ending, and we got to wrap up for today.
Okay, so I will go through. Let's see where to start. I'll start with the one on my screen right here. Being Cheeks, I never subbed to Angela or MLD, but Angela got my vote for the rose. Typical red pill guys never take accountability for the same way OnlyFans girls in their future.
That's the one she got
Then
highlighted
we have
before she
this
scrolled.
one. Being Cheeks, have more enthusiasm reading the chat. I will. Then we have Full Weed Todd. Divorce is actually worse than average men. They end up lying in their cars and sitting on earth for men at 40. Self-destruction. Sorry, it was a little blurry when I took a picture. Then we have Redo.
Hold on,
Destiny.
guys. As we're doing this, production team, real quick. I know we're wrapping up. MLD literally has to go. He's not walking off. No. He said at 6 o'clock he needed to hard out at 6 o'clock right now. MLD, final words before you run off. I don't want to go out like this. Anything you would like to say before you do?
I got nothing to say. I'm out.
See? My point.
That's a mean waddle.
Yeah. Of course, bro. Joey, let's make sure he gets out safely.
Wait, hold up.
MLD, final words before you run off. I don't want to go out like this. Anything you would like to say before you do?
I got nothing to say. I'm out.
He got nothing to say right now, but let me tell you guys what's happening in his head right now. Oh, I am so angry at what they just did to me. God damn it. Why'd I go in that chat room? Why was I talking all of that shit? God damn it. It makes so much sense when I'm behind a screen and no one can address me directly. Oh God, it makes so much sense there. Oh, is that the TV screen over there? Why am I so red, orange, yellow, and hot fuchsia at the same goddamn time? Is it hot?